Considering buying a new home? Well, I love new construction and I love representing buyers on new construction homes. But buying a new construction home is completely different than buying a resale home. And today we are going to talk about the differences and how to make building a new home a very successful transaction. So stick around. Hi everyone, I am Lisa McBride with Keller Williams Realty Select in Sarasota and Lakewood Ranch. And today we are discussing building a brand new home. With less and less homes on the market, looking at buying a home that you're building from scratch is a really good option and an exciting one. There are a few things to keep in mind when doing so. I am referring to large builders here in Florida and not like just a one single custom home. Number one tip, use a realtor. We represent buyers all the time, but it can be confusing as it is easy to pop into new construction home sites, meet with a representative, they answer the questions you have, they show you the models, and it's exciting. But keep in mind, however, these reps are working on behalf of the builders. They are hired to keep the builder's best interest at heart. So shouldn't you have someone to keep your best interest at heart? Especially if you're working with an agent that is familiar with new construction process. Be sure to pick your realtor before going to the models. Why? Because if you register when you walk in and you don't indicate that you're working with a realtor, the builder may not be quite as willing to work with us later on in the process. Now, most are very happy to work with real estate agents. They do it all the time. We know the process, and it does not cost you as a buyer any additional money. And also, you are not going to receive any significant discounts by not being represented. It's just you're putting more money in the builder's pocket. So why not have somebody represent you, helping you negotiate and maybe add a little advice on how to make the purchase a little bit more advantageous to yourself. From your realtor's perspective, we are here to help you make great choices and provide you with some options and ideas that you may not have thought about before. Our advice and our insights can be really important from start to finish. If you do go into a new home construction site without your agent, make sure to let the sales rep there know. And if you happen to have some business cards of your agent, that's great too. Now, don't feel pressured to react now. Remember, it is their job to make you think that you must act, and that's not always the case. Give your agent a call, let them work it out. Lots of times there isn't a mad dash rush that you have to make the decision. I mean, it is busy right now, but still you might have a little bit of time. Another thing that you need to understand is the cost of new construction. Now, have you ever seen those signs at the end of the row where it says new home sites and prices starting in the low 200s or low 300s, and you're like, oh, this is right in my price point. And then you walk into the model and everything you see is closer to 400,000. Why is this happening? These intro rates do not include any upgrades or any lot premiums. The cost of new construction starts with the base price of the home. Let's use the base price of $400,000. Base price of home is to choose your floor plan with no upgrades and no lot premiums. The lot premium is a lot that the builder considers better than others, such as maybe it has a pond in the backyard or backs up to a preserve. If it does not have a premium, then it's going to be a little bit less than desired location. It might be backing up to a busy road or something like that, so there's not going to be a lot premium, but most people want the perfect lot. Now, construction options. This is not cosmetic. This is changing a bedroom or a den or a bonus room into a different room, such as changing a den into a bedroom. Those are easy changes to be made, and most of the time the builders have various options to supply you with so that you can decide how you want that. Now, cosmetic options, now these are the fun things. These are your flooring, your cabinetry, your lighting, and going into a design center it's like a kid in the candy store. There's so many options and so many fun things to choose from. But beware, there are a lot of options and a lot of cost, and quickly your budget can just run amok. So be sure to know what you're getting into and what you want the final cost of your home to be. You may have planned on spending an additional, let's say $30,000 on that base $400,000. but that can be taken up by just the cost of the cabinets alone if you like high-end cabinets. And also, this does not include the backyard pools. All models are gonna have these great pools in backyards. To include those, you might spend another $100,000. So there's a lot of things to consider when you get into the design part of this. Remember to spend your money on things that are also going to bring you a return if you have to sell the home. Again, those are things that your realtor is here to help you figure out and talk through and negotiate with the builder. Speaking of negotiations, can you negotiate with the builder? Well, yes, but maybe not the way you think. We are used to negotiating in price, but a builder isn't necessarily going to want to negotiate on price, and that's because he's selling a number of homes, all similar, and he needs to keep that base price consistent. However, they may be willing to negotiate, let's say, on closing cost or additions to the home or changes to be made. As an agent, there's a lot of times that we'll go in and ask for an additional $10,000 credit for Design Center, or waiving the HOA fees for so many months, or adding a washer and dryer that wasn't there. There are things that we can do to help offset some of the cost or add a little bit more to you and not just the base price. However, if this is an inventory home that has been sitting for a little bit, or the builder is ready to be done with a home and they want to get it off their books because they're not making money until they close, you then may be able to see a reduction in price. Now, speaking of closing costs, pay close attention to this, because you're going to see a lot of times incentives of using their lender, the preferred lender of the builder. They'll say up to $7,500 off, or $2,500 off to use their title company and closing agent. These are all great incentives. However, keep in mind, many times the builders might charge additional fees or roll certain costs into this that you wouldn't normally expect to pay if you were buying just a normal resale home. So I always suggest that you speak to your lender and their lender. You look at the interest rates, you look at the fees, you look at all the costs, because a lot of lenders will give you rebates as well as just their lenders. So again, you need to really weigh the options, compare it apples to apples, and decide which one is best for you. The next thing to keep in mind is that you can have home inspection with new construction. Now, if you're building from the ground up, I always suggest 2 inspections. One is right before drywall, and that way you get to see inside the walls, which we never get to do, right? And then the second inspection would be right before closing, which that inspection is going to be very, very similar to any existing home. You get to detect if there's anything that just got missed. Now, keep in mind, builders are not trying to make any mistakes. They work very diligently, but things can happen, and so having a home inspection prior to closing is good. Now, also, they will provide a home warranty, so things are going to be corrected, but sometimes just knowing ahead of time is good. The last thing to keep in mind is closing dates and times. Builders work diligently to make those closing dates happen when specified in the contract. However, anything can happen. Bad weather, permitting doesn't go the way they planned, materials. During COVID, there's definitely been lumber supply shortage, electrical wiring shortage, and so some homes have been delayed. Those things can happen in any season and time. So if you're selling a home or you're in a rental and you're hoping to time it perfectly, make sure you have a plan B, because not everything happens exactly as we hope it does. If you've enjoyed this information, you may also enjoy this other one, the comparison of building versus buying existing. And as always, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel, leave comments, hit that like button, let me know how I can help. And until next time, take care.